Yes.
Not yet.
I was told that I'm recording in progress. No.
For the webinar.
It's the, yes, the streaming piece that.
Yes. Not yet. I was told that I'm recording in progress.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Lucy Robbins Wells Library Board of Trustees meeting for Monday, March 13th. Yes, we're looking at the right agenda. Throw me off. I'll ask folks, so we do have people online and in the room, and I will ask Elizabeth to go through the roll call.
Andy Brecker, Anna Eddy, Colleen Crook,
Here.
Iris Larson, Leanne Mankey, Scott McBride, Maureen O'Connor Lyons,
Here.
Ryan,
Here.
Christine Shushin,
Here.
Diane Stan,
Here.
Fiona York, here. Sheila Rowell,
You couldn't make it to me.
David Nagel.
Here.
That concludes all.
Thank you. Okay, public participation. There's no one in the room. Is there anybody online for public participation? No? No. All right, that goes quickly. Town council liaison. David, welcome.
We have gotten our town manager proposal budget and I've looked at it again since I called Diane the other day and actually met some of you the other day by chance. I checked it again and there's no change in terms of what's been applied to the town manager. He didn't increase it or delete it. So everything stands the way that it was presented to him. Previously told you that when he will present it to the council. Other things on our agenda for tomorrow, there is nothing there about adding a member to as another liaison to the council. Again, I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't have any control over that. And let's see. Is there one other thing? I don't think so. If I think of it, I'll tell you later.
March 25th, Saturday morning is the
Yes.
time that's slated for
I
the town
believe
council.
so, yes, I get
we're-
confused because we're meeting the 14th as
Yeah,
well.
then that's, I think human services might be first and then the library's second that morning. So it
That
starts
morning, yes,
at 9.
yeah,
So
So
it'll
it
be,
starts at 9, so we'd be 9:30 or 9:15. It depends on
it
how.
depends how quickly, sure.
Yeah, so we should be ready at
Yep.
9.
oh, I do remember the other thing that's always asked, I think the person on the board that asked is not here tonight. There have been no additional members added to the centralized building committee. It still stands at the two that were appointed.
Can I ask about, so you said the budget, the town manager didn't remove anything, that means the funding for the teen library.
Right, so
full-time
it's,
Yes.
it's still in there.
That's-
Oh, good,
That's-
okay, great.
That's
Okay,
probably,
good news.
that's my point.
Yes, okay.
That
Just wanted to make sure.
Everything.
Understood it.
Stands,
Great.
nothing's deleted,
Great,
nothing's changed from what was submitted.
great, thank you.
Just one quick question, Dave, you mentioned the current facilities committee. I know Heartbeat is one member, and who's the second member?
I'm having a senior moment.
Yeah. Okay.
If it comes to me later.
Yeah, don't worry.
I'll let you. Giovanni?
I'm done.
There you go.
Oh, Bonjour.
Yes, thank you.
Fair.
Oh, the line.
Also, I came in part.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. Just want to
working together.
take this moment to
There you go.
encourage folks to show up. The meeting is Saturday morning. It would be in town council chambers, right? In the big area. It's always important to be there to hear what's going on. You don't know what town council's questions might be or what's happening from that end, so it would be very good. For us to be there just to show them that we're paying attention and we want to see what's happening, what's going on. We'll leave the hard questions to Lisa, but more than capable to do that. So again, that's Saturday, the 25th at 9 a.m. Secretary's report, Iris Larson is not here. Oh, hi, Scott. Scott has joined. I don't know if you saw him on the camera. Thank you. I was wondering how many people would show up, with the weather forecast, they were trying to scare us. You know, sometimes it's easier to join online.
Great leaders, we have this.
So, I'll say no secretary's report because Iris is not here. And then I will move into, the minutes, looking for approval of the minutes. I'll open it up for any discussions that folks might have.
This is Maureen. I have a couple of minor corrections.
Go ahead, Maureen.
Under the director's report, Patterson School is misspelled. It's only one T. School visits are continuing from Patterson in that section.
Okay.
And then under facility and site, Andrew Berman's name is misspelled. It should be B-E-R, not B-U-R. And I don't know if this is moot or not, but it says that the town manager can approve up to $25,000 per vendor. It's technically it's $24,999. I don't know if that's being nitpicky, but just to bring it to everybody's attention.
Okay.
And otherwise, yeah.
Okay, any other thoughts or comments from folks? No? Scott, did you say anything? No, okay. Wasn't sure, I'm trying to cover the room in the laptop. All right, may I have a motion to accept the minutes as amended? So moved. And
I'll
do I have a
second.
second? Thank you.
Sorry.
Verbal. You're not verbal tonight, thank you. Any further discussion? No? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Just raise your hand if you're on, okay, and we have Maureen and Scott both saying aye. Any opposed or abstaining?
I have to abstain when I wasn't at the meeting.
Okay. So one abstention. We now have 7 people, right? So 6 in favor. All right, motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Review of the annual activities calendar. It's March. We talked earlier at our 5K meeting about some of the donors and prizes that might be coming up. The library budget we've just mentioned. Annual concert, I think it was decided that we were going to do
Larry Camille?
for winter, but nothing in the spring.
Nothing yet in the spring.
Nothing yet in spring, so to be determined. We should remember to reach out to the Legacy Society members, I guess, to make sure that they're invited to the annuals. That's what I have listed here. And then we have the pet chair for the director's evaluation. And that's what I have for March under the calendar. Any questions or thoughts? You know, about this time I start getting excited that it'll be a quick meeting.
You just jinxed
I
it.
know.
I know, I know. Treasurer's report, did you all see Leanne's treasurer report? Yep. Any questions or thoughts? I know she's not here with us this evening, but any questions or thoughts?
That was good.
It was a nice, nice milestone number.
That, that donation from the Will.
Janice,
Earl,
Jansboro.
yeah,
that was unbelievable.
it was very nice. So, we got a very, nice donation from a legacy donor. And, that's showing, it's gone through whatever they do for wills and stuff. It's gone through probate and everything else. And, we have received, some of that money. So we are always grateful to our legacy donors. And, it's just nice to see that in the bottom. Let's see, Leon's not here. I'm looking online. Any questions? No? Oh, good. Thank you. Library director's report. Lisa Maston?
The repairs in the magazine room were done, and they replastered the ceiling, and they repainted it. It looks really nice. So all the repairs from the leaks from last summer have been completed, which is really nice.
Just in time for summer.
Yes, so it looks good. The winter reading programs ended. The adults ended on March 3rd. We had 420 adults participate, and they read over 2,000 books in 5 weeks. And the children's just finished. Wait, they're finishing, they finished last Friday, right?
Yeah.
The 11th, and the teens did. I think the children's had like 148 kids. Teens are tough. It's kind of a hard time of year for them to be. Their attendance was pretty low, but I think the kids just have a lot going on right now, so they're gonna rethink whether they do those teen winter program again. But we were pleased with the adults, so that was nice. Let's see, Karen and I split everything. We're starting to do more professional development with staff. With Yvonne Alston, we did a workshop with her in the fall, and we're going to continue to do some like workshops on the communication and inclusion, diversity, how to make a more welcoming environment to the public. We are seeing more Ukrainian people, refugees coming through the doors. I had a program a couple weeks ago, and I had 2 women who, one had been here 5 months and one had been here longer, but and one of the stories that Bailey had put in her monthly report is that there were several women that went upstairs to the children's room who were learning to speak and read English. And a couple of them started crying when they got to the box books, which are books for children that not only can they read, but it reads with them. They can listen to someone read the book to them, so they can see how to pronounce the word, what the word looks like. And they were so pleased to be able to have that kind of thing. And we are looking at buying more children's books, to help children who are learning English to Ukrainians and things like that. But it's not just that population. So we're trying to work with staff so that we are just present, that welcoming environment when they come in and they feel comfortable. So that's starting, and I'll just mention the Friends stuff since Sheila's not here. So their book sale is coming up next month. It's the 14th, 15th, and 16th, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Senior Center. Friday night is 5 to 8:30, and it's the $5 admission. Saturday is 9 to 3, and that's free admission. And Sunday is 12 to 3, and that's the bag of books where they buy a book for, they buy a bag for $10, and they can fill it up as many books as they can possibly fit. And then they can refill it for 8. So they're working really hard. They're gonna have 2 donation days coming up, March 19th and March 26th, which are Sundays. And people can drive up into the parking lot, and they can put their donations in bins. And they can drive away because they're looking for more donations. So they're working very fast and furious. I think that we mentioned last month that their Winterfest, I think they made about $10,000 on that. Which was really nice.
The note said around 11.
Yeah, but I think yeah. So
And
they,
able to.
so they're gearing up for their book sale next. And I think that's it.
I was at the Friends meeting as the
Yeah.
board liaison, but you hit on everything.
I took away
I thought that I've written down $9,300, I might be misheard what you said.
Well, I think that could be the gross, the net now that they took out expenses. I'm also gonna pass around an article, they're trying to, they have a bill that's going through, the state legislature right now to try to make purchasing and licensing of ebooks for libraries equitable. And they're talking about the way the bill is written, it's very specific to, it has more to do with the state's ability to enforce fair terms from the publishers rather than from a federal level. It's more from a state level. So I printed out the article for you guys. It was like an op-ed in the Hartford Current, but they were talking about that we pay sometimes 6 times as much as a consumer pays for an ebook.
Really?
And we're only allowed to circulate it Possibly, it says either 26 checkouts or 24 months. And then we have to repurchase the book. And so, what they wanted, and the publishers kind of have us in bind. So they're trying to get, the state, from a state level, so they want to sell to the libraries. Which we buy a lot, we spend a lot of money on it, but it also limits how much we can buy. We do have a shared collection. But what happens is you wait a lot longer for some of these titles. And they don't always sell the new bestsellers to us for a period of time. We have to wait before we can even purchase it. So I printed out the article. If you feel like it, you could send it to like Gary Perko and, our representatives and just ask them to support that kind of support the bill if it comes that far, if it comes to where they can vote on it. This is something that we've been grappling with since ebooks came out. We have someone in our consortium who is working really, really hard at the state level to try to get this bill passed, so. Good.
But this is something you support, I believe.
Absolutely, because we can't tell you how expensive they are. I mean, if you can buy it at Amazon, say, most ebooks now, they're getting more expensive too, if you've noticed.
Yeah.
Like they're now starting to cost close to what a print is, but we might end up paying $70, $80, $90 for that same book, and you're paying like 15 to 20, but then we can only share it 26 times, or we a certain amount of time, and then it goes away. And then if we want it again, we have to repurchase it. And then sometimes it's not available to repurchase when you go back to buy it again.
What's the reasoning behind, because I actually have noticed this, I just got a Kindle. And I was like, oh, how come there's not a lot of the new fiction? So what, you're saying that they don't allow the new fiction ebooks?
Libraries,
don't.
they won't sell it to you for a certain period of time. They want like people to buy it first, like for your Kindle.
Right.
So for us, we can't purchase it for like, say, 6 months or something. Or if we purchase it, it might be that we're only purchasing a couple titles, because that's all we can afford to share amongst our consortium.
Right.
Or they're not gonna sell it all to us. Because they wanna sell it to a consumer where they think they're gonna make more money.
Right, okay.
Although
interesting.
that,
I feel like that defeats the purpose of.
because when we buy a print copy, we can circulate that thing until
Yeah.
it drops dead and falls apart.
And you can have a shorter loan period on the ebook too, with a new fiction, so you actually can move it faster and potentially have to then buy more versions of the.
Well, if
ebook
it was cheaper, you would buy maybe as many copies as you would buy in
Right.
print version. Yeah,
That's interesting.
So anyway. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. So take some time to read through this and reach out. Assistant Director, Karen Benner.
Hey. We have just finished a pretty big computer project here. All of the staff got new, either new desktop or laptop computers. So most of the full-time people have laptops now. Which is really nice because, if we want to pick it up and move to another room to have a meeting or whatever, we can do that. We also have, which everybody's really excited about, dual screens. So
Save on paper, I cannot believe.
that's what we were mentioning that, if anybody who has one, I mean, it was like, Christmas or, people came in and boy, we had a lot of happy people. It's just really makes things a lot more efficient. So, IT really did a great job. It was really smooth. We have a couple computers left, for them to install. So everybody's really happy about that. Just also wanted to mention, to follow up what you said, Diane, the Hanel event featuring Larry Garreau is, confirmed for Saturday, December 2nd at 7 p.m. We talked about the children's department and how busy they are with their receiving school visits. They're just continued during the month. They had first grade, second grade, and fourth grade from Chafee, and they served 126 students. And circulation continued to make new library cards, 92 new cards during.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy,
great.
it's really very cool. And then we are expanding our programming staff. We had a couple of retirees a few years back who were really phenomenal programmers, and we have some new talent in the library. A number of the people are in library school now, so we've kind of expanded. It's actually Michelle Royer's initiative, expanded to include some of the staff members, and it's really amazing what creative ideas you can get from, you know what I mean? We're used to do, I mean, we're always looking for creative ideas, but things that came up from things that you would never think of, you know. So we're really excited about that. So you should see some new programming coming out, you know, in the next few months. Let's see what else. The last thing just is to follow up with the book sale that Lisa talked about. If anybody is interested in volunteering, could you let one of us know, maybe sooner rather than later, so that they can get their volunteers lined up for the book sale. And that's it for me, thank you.
Karen,
Yes.
it's Maureen. It's 14, 15, and 16, right? The
Yes,
book sale. You can, I usually do the Friday night. I count.
great,
You can
thank you, Maureen.
Maureen's an
count on me
excellent counter.
for that.
Yes,
An excellent counter.
thank you.
Any other questions or comments for Karen? Or Lisa? Okay, great, thank you. So we had the Friends report with the book sale drive, and also the book sale itself coming up, and talk a little bit about how Winterfest did. Any other questions or thoughts about Friends? Yeah,
The only thing I noted was that, at the meeting, they, I guess the Friends had kind of an outreach program where they tried to invite some new potential members to the meeting.
good.
So several people showed up, knew, that was a nice touch, and they seemed interested, and, not a nice touch, you're trying to get more. I think they also discussed, they have to appoint, elect new officers for a 2-year period.
Yeah, their annual meeting is in June.
This room was full, there were
It was packed.
20,
There wasn't enough
Wow.
to see.
Wow. And how many of them are like official Friends board members now?
I don't know.
They
It seems like it seems a full board,
4
but
or 5 new,
Yeah.
so they might have. I don't think they have 50, I don't even know if they have 15. to be
I don't
honest.
think they have a full complement.
No,
because they're-
That's great.
But they're not really short of a lot, I don't think, because, I don't know the exact number. It was kind of, I was a little confused, there was the, executive board, the advisory board. And I was not real clear.
Well,
They're good with it, they know what they're doing.
yeah, the 4 officers are executive and then the rest are the advisory.
Okay. Great.
This is Maureen. Just to go backwards to Karen's report for a quick sec. What was the date of the Larry Garot concert?
December 2nd,
Oh, it's a Saturday.
Saturday evening.
December.
He was busy on Fridays and we can't do Sundays.
Thank you.
Mhm. Super, thank you. Okay, so from Friends, we'll move into the committee reports, budget. Leanne is not here.
I don't know the status of the budget.
We do know the status of the budget, so it has been forwarded so far to town council as it was presented to the town manager, and the meeting is on March 25th, Saturday at 9 AM. So
I'll have to give high marks to the budget committee for what they did,
you did a great job.
because there's no change to what we submitted, right?
That's
You
good
did a good
news. I mean, right
You
now
don't,
it's
you
good
don't
news, we're
know
happy.
how it comes
Yeah,
out.
we don't know the
You know
final.
how it's going in, and
Right.
that's great. We don't know how it's gonna come out.
But I think that, the question is the same as what we asked
Yep.
for.
Yes. Yep. Yes, so that's great. Okay, Pat, Pauline Crook.
If you happen to send your evaluation to the library director to send it, give it to me. If you didn't do it, either mail it in to the library and they can call me and I can come pick it up, or you can mail it to my house. Or Then text it to my house or email.
Or
it to my
email
house.
it.
Attachment,
Um,
whatever.
Did you get my message, Pauline? This is Maureen.
Yes,
Okay, I'll get it to you.
You want the more in-depth?
Yes.
Yeah, kind of like, well, I don't have that right now, that's done, soon.
so I will, review that and get that report written, hopefully for next month.
Okay. Any questions regarding how to fill that out or do anything from that end?
I'd be glad to help if anyone needs it.
All right.
And Lisa and I are gonna be working on going through the library policies, and there's, I guess, one coming up that we have to go through regarding food.
Yeah, we just had we're having. People can bring food and drink. Usually we're asking light snacks and coffee and whatever, but we had somebody bring like a full meal.
I love it. It's wonderful.
And we've had people bring in
It's messy.
cake. Because one of the things we're seeing too, not a terrible, not a lot, but because we're a public building, sometimes the supervised visits are done here with children. And sometimes it's the only chance that the adult has to be with a child, like to give a present or to, but it's kind of balancing that out. You can't have a birthday party in the children's room. And also it's public space and other people are there just to do other things. So it's just trying to balance it, but we just want to have a little bit firmer policy about food. Just so that, like you said, it can be messy, like people can have food in here, they can have food in the Reinhardt room and the study rooms, but it's still not intended to have a study room, a place where people just go eat their meals, it's not really intended, it's supposed to be to use it to study or work, whatever, so just trying to balance that out a little bit more.
So a drink and a snack is something that you're
We're fine with that,
agreeable with.
Oh, yeah.
It's the whole idea of
a full meal.
Right, yeah,
Or-
utensils.
or messy snacks, yeah.
Yeah.
Cake for
If
me.
they're in the study room for a couple hours, it makes sense that they would
Of
need like some
course.
water and a granola bar or something like that, but. This is, I mean, I have this problem in my library too, it's a very common problem, yeah, but they're.
We had pizza delivered once.
Lisa, when there's supervised visits, where are they? In a study room?
No.
In the public area?
Well, they are because they, a lot of times they're trying to find a public space where they can meet. We have offered study rooms before, if they're open, if they would like to meet in there, for sure, but it's just sometimes it's not planned in advance that with us.
Oh.
It's a real fine line, because they're trying to find a place they can go and meet, but it's harder if they're doing it in like the play area upstairs where other kids are playing and,
Mhm.
so it's challenging sometimes.
Always challenges that you don't think of until that's your family situation. Yep. Okay, anything else, Lauren? No?
I was just gonna add too, I'm on Pat, if you need help with the food policy, I can.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, she's gonna write what she wants in her library. This is how they do it in Newington.
My kids have food delivered all the time.
The girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the delivery guy comes to the surface, and the delivery for pizza, and we're like, no.
You're in the wrong spot, you gotta be, yeah.
Take a slice and pass it
Yeah.
on. All right.
so kind of somebody just.
Appreciate your library.
Yeah, exactly.
It's in the
back room right now.
Okay. Thank you, Pauline. Next is investment committee, Neil.
Yes, I emailed out our February report earlier this morning and, I got a chance to look at it. It was a little bit of a down month for February. We dropped $16,426.85. So as of February 28th, 23, our portfolio value stood at $249.43. We're up for the year, about $20,000, with January, put it down in February. So again, $73,240.43. 69%, almost 7% of those funds are restricted. And, if you just give me, I'd like to expound a little bit, if you bear with me, on our portfolio. Warren Buffett is about 92 years old. Greatest investor who ever lived. And when he looks at a company to invest in, he likes to look 5-10 years out where he thinks that company's gonna be. Some short-sighted might say, Mr. Buffett, you're in your 90s, why would you be looking that far into the future? He's not gonna change the investment strategy of a lifetime that's earned billions, just because he might get some short-term gain. He's not gonna change his philosophy of a lifetime. And not to get morbid, but I look at this account, this portfolio, if all goes well, it's gonna be around long after we're all gone. So
We hope,
I try and keep
that's our plan.
a big picture outlook for the portfolio, because 22 was a bad year, but it's only 1 year. We're up a little bit this year. Now, that's my philosophy. Long term.
It is definitely long-term. All right,
That's
thank
all.
you, Neil. Any questions for Neil? No, thank you. House Committee, Diane. So, I did send. So excited. I'm so excited. So I did send out the worksheet where you can see a lot of the work had been done. Lisa mentioned some of the repairs, that was going on. One of the things that gets me somewhat excited is that, we are working to get some cost and fabric samples, for those of you that went through the walkthrough or went into, the reading rooms. We have, is it 6 or 8 chairs that are truly showing their age. Before COVID, they should have been recovered. With COVID, with everything else going on, we didn't do that. We have a gentleman who did the work on all of the children's area, and up in the children's area, that bench seat, the fabric, something went wrong with the fabric. The manufacturer of the fabric is donating the fabric or replacing the fabric for no charge, but that doesn't include installation. However, the fellow that put it in, who we're also talking to about doing the other things, will put the labor for that in if we do the other chairs, and he does good work. So it's a matter of, picking the fabrics and seeing what can be there, and we're trying to find a way to get the fabrics that are durable enough, to live without it making it feel like a 1950s vinyl diner seat. So, going back and forth, well, realistically, right? It is, for adults, but we need something a little bit more, so expect more to come, from that end as we go through, and then hopefully soon, we'll start to see some of the work orders for the, work outside with the spring stuff. There's some plantings that need to be fixed up and some things on the roof that we wanted looked at that obviously are not gonna be looked at in winter or even in March if we get nor'easters and stuff like that. So I don't know if anyone has questions or points or anything from House Committee that they wanted to bring up. I'm looking online.
They are also, this was just today, Diane, that they are still looking at the skylight to try to come up with solutions to like a long-term solution as far as the leak. So they,
I have a solution. Renovation.
Long-term solution.
yeah, but just so you know, that's still on their radar too.
Yes, great, thank you. So is it still leaking, or we'll know,
There's
we'll know
one,
by Wednesday, right?
right, there's one small leak that they know about, but it's not doing any damage because they know where to catch the water so it doesn't hit the walls and stuff, but they're still trying to find exactly where it's coming in, but it's part of that
Skylight.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll know soon. All right, I don't see any questions. I'm gonna move on to facility and site. Maureen, you're on mute.
Okay. Right, we had a very good meeting with Leslie and Andrew and some of Andrew's team on March 3rd, I believe. And they presented us with the revisions that we had asked for. And to use Andrew's term, that they created more density. So we had asked, especially on the second level, that a lot of that open space be utilized differently. So there's much more usable space now. There's some open space where you are looking downwards, but basically there'll be more seating space, more office space. There's a wonderful teen area. We talked about, it's enclosed. However, we talked about a desk in the teen area, not a real big, like a reference desk or a circ desk, but perhaps a kiosk type or even just a podium, but someplace for adult supervision with, you know, portable equipment. Did any of you get a chance to look at the renderings?
Passing them out, Maureen. In
Okay,
case people don't have them. Oh,
Scott, can you check your email and see if you have one in there?
I did see that, yeah.
So that's the first one. In the back.
Like that'd be level.
Awesome.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
I know it's hard to see. It's what I could do.
Yeah, that's good.
I think,
that's
and
good.
Diane, chime in at any time, but I think some of the key issues we talked about, for instance, on the lower level, when you come into the building, that would be there's 2 foyers. So you would come in to the main entrance and you can go into the main part of the library or go to the left and that's where the community room is. And it's designed so that when the library is closed, that entrance would be the accessibility. So, you know, it would be confined to the community room and not spill into the main part of the library that would probably be closed during some of those activities. Also, off of the community room, you see a patio area, number 4. So that would be something that can be utilized for programs in good weather, a spillover, and that circular area, can you see that? I don't know. That's actually a, oh, my mind just went blank.
Coming up.
The, what do you,
What?
those, the landing site
Oh.
Oh, the drone.
for a
So I'm
drone.
trying-
Thank you.
I'm trying to bring it up, to share.
I don't know if I can.
Those of you that are online, are you seeing anything?
There you go.
Yeah, okay, so am I driving on it? No. Yes.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, okay, so over here where you see the traditional parking lot, right? The main area, if you remember from our colored pictures, we're gonna be coming up the stairs here. And coming in the front door right here. Oops.
Where the arrows are.
Yep, where the arrows are.
Okay.
All of this, that would be the town, the community room, this room, if you will. And it has a way for us to partition that off so that if we were having events that were outside of library areas or maybe ended after library hours, we could lock that down. They would still have access to the facilities, men's and ladies' room, but then they could still go in and out. So we wouldn't have to keep the whole library open and staffed for security if that wasn't happening. Right outside, you see a long open patio. And right where that cursor is now, you see a little circle, it looks like a helicopter pad. It's actually a drone landing pad. Whether we have that or keep it in or not, I don't know, but as you come up these stairs here. We have outdoor patio seating. Remember, we're trying to figure out what do we do to make this a community event? What do we do in the event of something like COVID again? Or how do we have outdoor areas happening? Way over, if you go up to the other part of the parking lot, and you can see the car over here. But over here is where we would have staff entrance and we would have deliveries and things like that. And this, I don't know that you can tell, I don't know how comfortable you are reading these plans and what size it is that you're looking at, but that's a ramp to get up. So whether it's for deliveries or access without having to drop off stairs.
Drop off, you said.
Drop offs, right?
Yeah.
It's a word about where to put books. Some of the things were the book drop offs for friends and for us to.
And
talk
for
about.
us, right?
This large area here, this is really the way they're reworking the seating and what's going on in the library. All of these little lines that you see here along the outside, that's actually shelving or storage for the collection, as well as some mobile storage here in the middle. The rest of this is what you see is their interpretation of different seatings that are available, whether they be study carrels or tables or more comfortable seating, as you see that here.
So is that a quiet space or no? That wouldn't be a quiet space, you think?
I would think, towards the front, probably not, as we
Right.
work towards the back, yes.
Okay.
One of the things that we talked about is having this space here be a teen space. Okay. Maybe with a teen librarian there or floating somewhere close by.
Okay.
What you see here in the brown, this is the footprint of our old existing building. And that would be turned into meeting rooms and study rooms, things like that on that level. Down below, it would still be friends, and up above, it could be employee seating as that goes through.
So that's the historical part of the library.
Right.
Yep, the original. This line right here, there's an opening so that you can see the facade, the old facade of the building as we can see now. But we won't have a skylight there.
No,
As that goes through. Then you can see over here to the other side, you begin to see some areas where we can have staff, we could have meeting rooms. Over here might be where we have folks come in, so, sorry. This area here, where you see the little tables and chairs, and then it looks like there's a tree here. Can you see that? That's actually a walled-in outdoor space for the children's area.
oh, neat.
So it would be bricked in or walled in, not just a fence. So that if you're having a children's program, they can go out here. And what they have, that little circle is the tree, and then the other thing would be benches out there. Again, this is conceptual, what you might have, but it's also a secure area. So it's not like kids are gonna come in that way to the children's area and stuff like that. But if you're having a program, if you're having a summer reading program and you wanna have the kids outside, you don't wanna worry about traffic, you don't wanna worry about other things, that's what can go on there. This area could be where we take in deliveries and, staff is working on some of the processing and stuff like that. So those are the little details that mean a lot, but those are the little details that we need to flesh out with Lisa and Karen to make sure that we've accommodated staff. Lisa did give us some numbers and counts for staff and what they're doing. All of this parking, we still maintain the parking that we have. It's oriented a little differently. And here, right along the sidewalk, this, of course, as you can recognize from those hash marks, that's where the handicap parking would be. And then this would be parking for anyone. And we're thinking about coming in from Mazzacoli Way, right? Oops, I lost my cursor. Coming in this way. And then having the book drop probably over here so that you could drive by and drop it off. And still have staff not having to cross the street, so to speak, to get things up. So that's not put in there, but that's kind of what we're talking about. I don't know if you can tell the front and the back of these cars, but that's kind of what's happening there. And let me see.
Well, there's still some changes that they'll give to us when they actually have the
Right.
lookbook. Because when we go to the second floor, you'll see we reversed some areas.
Right, so that's basically the front floor, and remember it had all the glass around there going up, the second floor as we go down. We would maintain the parking in the front of the building now where, Mazzicoli Way is. There's a lot of grading work and stuff that would happen with the yard here, but we're able to keep the facade of the building, so when you buy on Cedar, you get that feeling, you still see the Churchill door, you see Lucy Robbins Wells the way that it is. And then, yes,
The only question is, the new entrance to, that'll be like this, okay,
the new entrance would be where our parking lot is now.
where the parking lot is, okay. That-
Over there.
This,
Oh, wait, sorry, over there,
Yeah,
you're
it is,
right.
okay, good. Okay, good, so you come in where the, like, the, entrance to the.
Where the
staff
shipping is
building.
now,
Yeah,
where the shipping and staff is now,
okay, good.
that would be, where the entrance would be.
And then, so are parking spaces being added up here too?
So right now, we have parking out front here,
Cause
and the town hall has parking out front there, that would remain.
it looks like it's going to. Garden is adding on
Adding the spots. It says 87 parking spaces.
45,740 additional square feet. But it looks like it's like it's only taking up a lot more land, but it sounds up. Not just-
Well, if you have
So
some of
the-
the land is coming out, right, so all of this is going out here, this is like where the drone,
Okay,
right?
yeah,
And then you have the regular area, and then as you wrap around the building, this is where you have that front entrance.
so it's not really taking up a lot more space. It's space we already have. We're just making
Reassigning it,
better
reusing it,
use of it.
reorienting the parking lot.
Yeah.
Okay, to get more spaces and to do the flow. All right, and
We
Nice.
also asked Andrew to make sure, if you see the parking spaces in front of the area where our space is in the entrance now, to include the parking that's at Town Hall. They didn't draw those.
so right here where, oops, yeah. Right here where I'm showing, though, they didn't do anything on that side of the street. They're not taking the parking away. They just didn't draw it in.
Yeah.
So whatever's there is there. And then as you go up, this is now the second floor, as you can see on the screen. And if you remember, originally, we had two large openings here, atrium type of openings. Trying to bring in as much light as possible. And speaking to each other, speaking to librarians and everything else, it's a lovely concept to have the openness, to have the light. But the one thing that we need is space, so we shrunk those down. And the noise can get to be too much, right? So when you want the different quiet areas, when you want different things happening, the second floor is going to be many more meeting rooms as those go through. And we were trying to call out names for them, and I'll tell you, I moved everybody's room around everywhere. So whether we have a room that is what I would consider the board room, so that we can continue to record and have our hybrid meetings. And have the equipment that's pretty much there without having to, send it back and forth. So, it can be any room right here, where my mouse is, it says 4, and that's a classroom. But again, notice that all that furniture is movable. Over here, I don't see a number here, number 3. So over here on the side, you have the quiet reading room, right? So number 3 is you come in here. And what's nice is this area here is southern exposure, and that's gonna be a lot of windows. So that'll be a nice place for folks to be. The same here. We have the stairs going up and down. We have a new elevator bank to get from the first and second floor here. We will still have our existing elevator, but that would be more of a staff elevator, because that's the one that actually goes down to the basement. Okay.
And then-
different space- Yes.
Diane, we discussed where your cursor is to the right, move it to the right, that was going to be executive or administrative staff area. And then meeting rooms and perhaps office space for the Friends would be, we just said it was going to go north to south. So
Right, and
we were
again-
going to reverse that because I'm trying to point where your arrows
Right.
are now, staff area, we would then move the administrative area. We'd switch those positions, so administration would be
We
closer
might build it
to
out a little
other
bit
staff
differently.
offices.
Right, so we might build it out a little bit differently. We might have the director's office with the business manager and assistant director back in this area and switch these up here. You know, that could flip and flop, but as we say, that's what's going on, and that's gonna depend on how we set up the rest of the staff areas, working areas and what have you.
And
go
some
on
of
there.
that area would be designated for like a small friend's office. They still do their sorting, et cetera, down in the basement. But they would have a little office space, and then something also for the board, you know, a little area to keep our records.
Right, so right now, we're in a 4-drawer file cabinet in the staff lunchroom. And the ends basement. Right, and whatever we have in our safety deposit box. So again, this is the small atrium area to give some light and go through. This atrium area allows us to see the old building wall and still bring in, you know, some natural light as it goes through. But if you remember, we had 2 large squares up there. So again, that can change a little bit, but this is our impression, and we're getting through, you know, expanding that whole second floor. We're really getting so much more space for folks to use and see and to really be bright. And these renditions don't have the outside picture, unfortunately, so you don't get to see the rendition of what it looks like, but we're keeping that glass facade, so it's open, that really that community space for people to come and be comfortable, be encouraged to learn, be encouraged to, you know, mingle as that goes through.
Are the second one, the
Yep.
second floor, sorry, so when you're coming up the stairs where one is. To the left of the stairs, are those stacks too?
These can be movable stacks, yep.
I'm just thinking as far as sound, so like if you have the open space one looking down, which seems like it looks down to like. The area on the first floor that might be a little bit noisier because people are coming in there. I
Right.
think having stacks around there will help with the noise, you know what I mean, will help with the noise coming
So you like the
from.
position of the
I think
stacks?
so, yeah. I wonder if even putting the stacks to the right, because I see there's 2 there as well. Pushing those closer to, again, like the stairs coming up,
These stacks,
yeah.
then you don't have any break from these people, but we could certainly do that.
I'm just thinking of sounds coming up. I
Yeah.
guess it depends on what the roof looks like there too, if it's like open, you know, I don't know. I have a
Like how
rotunda,
tall?
yeah, I have a rotunda in my library, it's very loud.
So we're not trying to do a.
Not that it was that,
a
but-
rotunda.
right,
I mean, it
okay.
could be a fixed roof,
Yeah,
right?
that might
And on
help.
top of that roof, we are expecting to have solar panels.
Like, you know, I think the shelving there is good because it helps muffle some of the noise, I think.
So a couple of the key things, right, we want things to be movable. That also means that we're gonna have some heavy duty floor mounts. Right, because everybody comes to the library with computers and things like that. So if we have work carrels and desks. We're gonna have to bring power in there. We don't want a whole bunch of columns that we have to work around and a whole bunch of other things. And my experience with floor mounts is if you go cheap, you spend your whole life
Replacing it.
duct taping them
Yeah.
until somebody can come in and replace them. So that's the one area that we cannot value engineer. If we need to have floor mounts for power, I mean, you know, look at all this going here. We need to make sure that we actually have what's needed there. So that's what we've gotten for a conceptual design. That was taking the feedback, and Maureen, I'm gonna turn this over to you because I can talk about it forever, but that's taking the feedback of saying, we don't want all those open spaces. We don't want that wasted space. We don't want skylights on the roof. We want to have, you know, solar panels on the roof. I think with all the windows wrapping around it, that will bring a lot of natural light in. You know, and in January, you're not getting any natural light anyway, so you might as well, you know, try to get what you can with lighting and what have you there. Maureen, is there anything?
Well,
that
a couple-
you want me to point out?
I think that they've created more efficiency with the space. And, you know, we've said this before, this is a great design. When it actually comes to fruition, and you know, if anybody's been involved in any kind of building project, it isn't necessarily always exact when it comes, you know, to the brick and mortar. We saw that with Town Hall, but this is a pretty darn good conceptual design and something that we would stress to our stakeholders, something that we would want. Now, all of us have spoken briefly with various council members and the mayor, and they're interested, they appear interested in our expansion plans. So it's even before the lookbook, it's probably time to be speaking one-on-one as much as we can with these folks, attend council meetings. I know Parks and Rec is being very aggressive with their plans for the new pool and splash pads and everything. And they seem to attend every town council meeting. And whether the actual plans for the pool are on the agenda or not, somehow they managed to speak to it. So we need to put ourselves forward in a very public way, I think. And in conjunction with that, Anna had sent an email about the Connecticut Community Challenge Grant, which is, it can be anywhere from $1 to a $10 million award. And the grant, we missed round 2 last year. We didn't, we got the information too late. We have it in plenty of time. The deadline for submission is May 3rd. And I spoke with Sonia Richmond, who is the grant writer for the town. And she was a little bit familiar with this. I forwarded all the information to her. She's going to review it and get back to me. A question I asked was that, would she actually do the writing, you know, with the information we gave her? And she said yes.
I like her.
Yeah, I was very pleased with that. I thought I was expecting a different answer. So we just had this conversation today. She will get back to me. She also mentioned a few more things that might be, you know, in the offing. So it's, and then there's always the library, the state library offers grants as well for building. So we have to explore everything and do it seriously. But I think, you know, the lookbook is going to be a great help for visual. We need a visual aid to show people. But we also need to start speaking about it and to anybody, obviously the town councilors, but, you know, friends, neighbors, let's get this conversation out in the public.
Maureen, can I ask you a question about the grant?
Yeah.
So I did look at it when Anna sent it out, and it says that they are looking for, it seems like they want projects that are very, like, really moving. So I wonder if we would be able to have the lookbook in time for the application, we could include that in our grant application. That might.
Well, I would hope and think we would have that lookbook well before the May 3rd submission.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. And I was reading, I'm not that familiar with this grant, but I was reading some of the parameters, and it seems that we fit the bill in a couple of areas.
That's what I wanted to ask, because what you're referring to, Fiona, the areas where they're looking to provide grants to this POD, temporary development, workforce housing, other items similar to that. Doesn't mention libraries. I have no problem with us submitting an application if you can fit a library in there. But just looking at the items, it sounds like really geared toward a library. But if you have a grant writer that can put something together, that I'm all for it. But
Yeah, I don't think they specify what, you know, whether it's a library or a school, or it's community.
Right.
you
You
But
know,
still,
I think we've,
Well, one of the things on here says downtown major hub development.
We could easily explain
This is
that,
downtown.
yeah,
Newington.
absolutely.
That improves or reuses existing property.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to say don't do it, go ahead, do it, I was just looking at the specific item.
Where we-
But yeah, downtown hub is fine, wherever you can tie it into a library is fine.
Public space improvement, this is the public space, this is also essential infrastructure to the town. I would argue that, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of ways that you can make it work, fit in here.
yeah, and I'm, looking forward to Sonia's input. After she reads the information on the grant.
Excellent.
Yeah. I mean, essential infrastructure seems to cover it, you know. Public
And just-
space improvements. I think that we could submit a legitimate application.
Oh, I'm all for it. I'm not saying don't do it.
Okay. Good. Any
So
other
we had-
thoughts or?
Yeah, we're just waiting to hear from Leslie and Andrew when they'll actually they were going to make the few changes we talked about. They were waiting for some information about numbers from us, numbers of staff, the collection, etc. So we've gotten that information to them, and then we'll see a draft. That would be the next step.
Great. And so just so you know, as we look at this footprint for the first floor that's showing the first floor and the parking lot, that's library land. Right, that doesn't go all the way down to Garfield. That's library land.
Any
So there would be-
questions? Any more questions?
Scott, can you see? I'm sharing my screen so I can't see if Scott's got his hand raised or.
No.
Okay.
All right. Hopefully at the next meeting, we'll have something more concrete to show you in terms of a lookbook draft. Okay,
Good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I get excited every time I see this. It'll happen. It'll come to fruition.
And I thank you, Diane, because you have a different, coming from your family background, business, you have a different understanding of
Family has nothing.
how
to
the
do with it.
plans look.
All right. Thank you. Next would be fund development with Anna Eddy. She's not here and she did not give me a report, I don't think. Let me just double check the email.
We didn't see anything when she sent it.
When she sent it? Okay, thank you. So just a reminder, we do have the 5K road race going on, and I think in the website, can't you sign up to be a monthly donor, a legacy member?
Yep, a champion.
A sustaining membership is what we're looking.
Sustaining membership, thank you, yes. I sound more like NPR every day. So the sustaining membership is out there and available.
Did you say NPR?
Yes.
That's perfect, there's nothing wrong with finding more like NPR. I live for NPR. It's a radio station to listen to, really.
Okay. Nominations, Maureen, I'm assuming nothing at this point.
No, just for the new members, nominations don't occur until we're looking for new members and we're presenting new members at the annual meeting. So it's really only a once a year occurrence. That's why there's never a report until the end of the year, September.
All right, thank you, Maureen. Communications, Christine and Fiona.
She's done everything. Don't look at me for
Done
anything.
anything.
I've done enough. What's
done-
this?
Oh, for the race meeting. Yeah.
Oh, you
Those
did
are the
it.
race,
Okay.
yeah, those for the
I missed
race,
that.
my draft.
You did a very nice.
Thank you.
share.
So, do you want me to talk? I didn't know if we wanted to talk about that. Okay. So. Doing more race promotion on social media, I think would be great. I'm sure that everyone can get on board with that. I did draft up, I think so I had sent an email last month about some ideas about how to do that, and then I thought more about it, and I also asked my husband, I don't want to give him credit, but I asked him for some. And he said creating it as an event on the library page would be great, because then you can kind of like keep resharing it and maybe like add more details. And then also people would be able to either tag themselves on that event. And also people would be able to share that event to the town Facebook pages, which I'm happy to do, and like add some more information. I think that was all I had really. And so I just drafted up like what that would look like. I don't know if that's helpful. I forget who does the social media. Michelle, okay.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do whatever. I don't know security wise, how much access I could have to the library page. No, I don't have to have access. I'm not saying I do. I'm just saying, I realize it's creating some more work around it. So I'm happy to help out with that. However,
Okay.
you know, she needs, or she wants to reach out to me, I'm happy to reach out to her. I just feel like making it easily shareable is really great, because then more people will see it. And there's a bunch of town pages. I don't know the rules for every town page, like how you can promote things. I'll get some information on that. I think some of the town pages don't have rules on that, so probably could do it, maybe. I don't
When you
know.
say town pages, you mean?
I mean, town, like the Facebook, like Newington Facebook pages.
Yeah. I think
Oh, you mean like the.
Like Newington News,
happening,
what's
or
happening,
whatever
there's a
it's
Newington Moms group, that I'm in, I can share, and of course, the little readers race could be a big promo for that.
Just make sure we preface it as
They have to register,
their family.
Yeah.
Family.
family
members.
have to register, yeah, yeah.
Somebody has to.
yeah.
They don't
So-
have to run, they just have to register.
Right. So actually, they don't have to run if they want their child to be in the reader, the little readers, then that's enough. They don't have to necessarily run, they just have to
no, they
register.
have to be registered.
Right, okay.
We just
okay.
want their money.
Right, yeah. okay.
No, we just, it's for people that are partaking in the race
Right,
to try and get that going and, have the little ones feel like they're a part of the day instead of just waiting for older brothers and sisters or parents to finish.
right,
kind of
right,
thing.
yeah,
But we can't, at this point, we can't open up a free race to every child that
Right.
happens to be new to that day.
right. That would be a big plus.
Especially since it's our first year and we don't know what we're doing.
Right. The other thing I had too is from going to M&T Bank's opening last week, I have photos that I took of getting presented the check. I don't really know where we put those though, because I know the library page is more about programming. It's not really about like the fundraising aspect.
That would be a good Facebook, and also, that would be a good Newington Life.
Story.
Yep.
Okay,
If you give it, he likes it when you send pictures.
right, okay.
You're more apt to, they do like a community like news, right? I think that would be really good, but that would be a good Facebook.
Yeah, Instagram as well.
So you think the library would put that on there?
Yeah.
Oh, you
yeah,
think so?
yeah.
Oh, okay, because I was kind of looking at the page and I'm like, oh, I don't see a lot of this. It's more of like the library
Right.
programming, which I understand,
But
you know,
that's, social media would be.
but you think so? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll send pictures with
Yep.
something random.
Yep.
Okay, great.
And they were big on that community partnership thing. When they were
Very much so. yeah.
speaking,
Yeah, okay.
right, and it'll promote them as
See that,
well.
yeah.
So the only thing about if I do Newington Life, I would probably need to get a quote from the bank as well. Which is fine, okay, so we want to kind of make it
Mark was the one that.
he was the branch manager, is that right?
And I think that there's a deadline, so we'll have to get you that, to get into next.
Oh, for next month,
And it's probably coming up soon.
yeah, probably is.
Let me, email
it
you
just
tomorrow.
Would it be April's?
It would be.
I just got, I think
And it just comes.
I just got this month's.
Yeah, but then the deadline is soon
It
for
is.
the next month.
Okay, I can work on this week.
Thing.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I have.
Great, that's exciting. I like the thought of getting the word out. figuring out what's happening there. Anything else, Christine? No? Old business, Hamel, so we just talked about the fact that we have a Hamel event set up for December 12th with Larry Garou for,
Second.
oh, did I say 12?
Yeah.
Written here, down here, 12/2, that must be a problem.
Well, the first that I heard was December 7th, then with the second, that makes more sense. I think.
Yeah. So we do have, one event set up. We ask that the board attends, and when it gets closer, we'll look to have people, volunteer to help with the setup and, goodies and
Did we
things
say
like that.
it's a 7 PM?
Yes,
It starts at 7, but we would be here, before that. The library closes at 4 Saturdays, 5 on Saturdays, 4. on
So what we'll start doing is, we'll start shifting around 4. I don't know if we're gonna have to shift, I mean, we've been getting we had about no more than 100 people for the concerts that you had in the 80th
Mhm.
anniversary. So I think you could easily get 100 chairs without having to move every single, we must be able to shove them back rather than move them all out.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right, and so we look for board members, of course, to be there early, during, and later to help set that up, as it's a board event. Open board positions, so I don't have any updates on that. We did have a special meeting, and it was decided that no action was to be taken at that point. So we'll leave that there. New business, does anybody have new business? No?
Diane, did you want to talk about the bank meeting, the presentation of the check from M&T?
It was a very nice presentation. They had an open house and they had some goodies out there, and lots of folks from town. Town council was there and made a proclamation, so it's nice to see all of those folks. The bank, as you've heard in some of the chit chat here, they're very excited to be a part of our community and want to get active. Mark volunteered his staff to run in the race as a sponsor. He does get membership, so he's kind of excited about that as it goes through. It really was a very nice evening to go through and just see some of them, and they had lots of folks from M&T Bank from other areas, I think, senior executives.
Yeah, they had people statewide. And they presented us with $3,000 just for being
Very
new to
nice.
the community and being interested in community involvement. I think it was a good PR session for both parties.
I think it was very nice. They were very interested in the library, asking about what was going on with us and what's happening, how we handle things in the community, so it was good.
Starting a book,
You're starting,
yeah.
oh, they are, yeah.
right?
Yeah,
M&T.
some of the folks on the staff wanted to start a book club,
Nice.
yeah. So we're planning them down the street here.
There you go.
Help them get
Come on
this.
down, they know how to do that. All right, anything else? No? New business? Public participation? I don't see anybody online, no? And then my favorite part, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Christine and Fiona, thank you. All those in favor?
I
Any opposed? No. Great,
Yeah,
thank
we're all
you.
opposed to that.
Thank you for those of you who are remote, appreciate you signing in.